recently were one of the first members of the NWS Leadership Development Program. Tell me a little bit about your experience with that so far, and where you see that being applied at Triangle, and what you think that's going to do for our organization.
Well, the first few things that I think have been really helpful is being in that little pod
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing and having the, ability to ask them questions and being like a little bit more introduced to certain people and feeling a little bit more comfortable around them and having that exposure to other people. Now I can have a little bit better ideas on certain bounce ideas off of other people. And the one thing that it was just recently, I think it was the 7 Habits.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through like the first couple chapters, and the one thing that really stood out to me was the circle of concern versus the circle of influence, and thinking about things that you can change versus things you can't change. And that's had like an overall effect on kind of everything, not just work. Like, when when sometimes you get down on things and you're worrying about things and you take a step back and you're like, I can't really change these things. So you start to look at, what you can change and change from within. And that's just something that really kind of hit home with me recently, because I've also been off topic personally. I started doing meditation, and one of the things it's teaching is, take things as they come. Don't worry about what you can change. Change from within,
Mm-hmm.
and then your surroundings will reflect that. So it kind of hit home that that subject came up at the same time. So very, very interesting, and it's definitely gonna like kind of refocus me here,
Uh-huh.
because there's times where you're like, oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z, because of a policy, because it's somebody else's job, and so that always stresses you out, and so to try not to focus on the things you can't change.
Right. So I'm curious, who are your other pod members?
Well, Craig's in it, so he's actually somebody I talk to a lot. Daniel Centrelli,
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, Tyler, and Scott.
So you've got, let's see, going back, you've got somebody who's a CNC programmer. You've got somebody who is a production manager. You've got someone who's a maintenance manager. You've got someone who's a manufacturing engineer. So you've got all these different walks
Yes.
of life, walks of life at Triangle anyway, to get exposure to and to bounce ideas off of. And that diverse group really it's powerful.
Yeah, and it's definitely made me feel a little bit more comfortable around certain people, because especially Tyler, who's in that group, I've never really
Mm-hmm.
had to talk to him before or anything, and he actually got put on the automated sandblaster project with me. So
Yeah.
we were actually talking about some of the leadership training and the sandblaster afterwards. So it's kind of like a good introduction to people, and helps you make it feel a little bit more comfortable around them. And Daniel's another one who, he's working on all the behind the scenes things
Yeah.
that's also going to make our lives easier to work with him and say, well, we need this in for, or can you add this? And he's always willing to help, and he's always saying this is a good idea, or why don't we try doing this? And
Yeah,
so
I actually I missed him in the list of people, list of jobs that we were describing. But Daniel's solutions development, where he's doing software development and all sorts of IT work and ERP integration into what we're doing. I mean, that in of itself is such a powerful aspect of what we're up to.
yeah, I could give him like a laundry list of things to work on if he ever gets slow. So he's a pretty important person, and I feel so it's definitely going to help move our company a little bit more forward.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like we were talking about earlier, the combination of automation, development. I mean, when you think about the fact that we were maybe 4 years ago, where we were still dependent on a paper DMR and in a what we call blue books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
Yeah, I know. That was another thing with, I was talking about making things easier. It was always spending 20 minutes looking for a blue book, asking 20 different people have they seen it. And,
Yeah,
but
talk about a waste of time, right?
have you done leadership training?
I'm in doing a component of the leadership training.
Okay.
So I have all of the materials, and I've been working not only with Allison on some of the content development, also with Michelle Kaplan, but we'll also have the executive management team will be going through some aspects of the training as well. So we're all talking the same language.
All right.
Yeah. So and more to come, because our intention in rolling this out was not to just have it be one initial group, but to continue after the first group gets to a certain point, maybe 6-12 months in, that we have a second group come behind that. And then there's an opportunity for mentorship and working collaboratively where certain people are at different points in the program. So, I think that it has the potential to be really powerful for Triangle and can be a real differentiator for us.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I hope. So
It's like I said before, it's definitely a good introduction to other people in the company. If especially if you didn't have any experience with them before, and
mm-hmm.
now you get to see them a little bit more on a personal level and have a good opening conversation, I guess you could have with them. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that'll be the main benefit. Not to say, well, I don't really know that person. I don't really know what they do, so maybe I shouldn't talk. And like I said before, anybody can have a good idea at any point. So
Mm-hmm.
to have that open conversation, open dialogue with people will definitely be a benefit.
I think it's pretty cool that you got paired up with Tyler.
That's what I mean. Like, coincidentally enough, I'm going to have to work on him with a project. So
Yeah.
and he does a lot of stuff with Infor, so he may be a good person in the future now to have him as a resource for me to ask, dumb questions to all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's great. I'm excited that you're excited for the program. We're really, as an organization, just excited for its potential.